Podcasts after the bell with Chip Nellinger. Today we're a little before the bell, so but schedules where they are, we had to do some reworking here. So, Chip, there's a lot of new tariff news that just hit the market today or hit the news wire today. So, how's the market reacting to that stuff, and what is anything that you can glean from that information that you got?
Yeah, you can't glean a lot yet. We're going to release some tariffs on Chinese goods, and it's really causing some uncertainty. So it's really hit the stock market today. At one point, we were down over 500 points in the stock market. It's since come back a little bit, down about 300 now. It's really affecting the bean market as well, on the fears that they're going to retaliate against imports of beans. So that could be high on the list. Now, it may be days to weeks before we know, for sure what they're going to do in response to these tariffs. So that, when the market is uncertain and when there's a lot of, ambiguity on what's going to happen, it really causes some liquidation, or at least caps the market, right? It prevents it from rallying like it might be with all that uncertainty there. So it's going to be something we deal with for a while. I don't think it goes away overnight. It's going to cause choppy, volatile trade. On the one hand, you've got Argentina. Their private estimates now are a lot of them going under 40 million metric tons. So that's going to be a deeper yield loss than probably what the market was expecting. I think beans would be rallying if it weren't for this, Chinese trade stuff. But with that uncertainty, it's just we're kind of stuck in the mud here. So it's been a very choppy day. We traded both sides of unchained. Right now, you got beans down a couple, corn up a half, wheat's up a little bit. But that's unfortunately going to be the news for a while, is just uncertainty of Chinese trade, and it may be weeks and months before we have, much more clarity on that.
Yeah. So you got cold storage report coming out today, this afternoon. Anything there that's going to jump out and grab you think?
Well, those are cold storage reports are always potentially volatile. It's really hard to predict those. So, if there are big drawdowns or increases in stocks, pork, beef, it can definitely affect the market. So those are always pretty volatile. And then on top of that, tomorrow afternoon at 2 Central, we've got the monthly cattle on feed report. So both those, cold storage this afternoon, cattle on feed tomorrow, very definitely going to affect the cattle market and the hog market, especially in the case of the cold storage. We've seen at least a bounce here so far. Cattle are up about 22 in the April, 72 in the June right now. Feeders are up a buck. So it's nice to see some green, but I don't know if that means that the low's in yet. We've hit this cattle market so hard over the last couple of weeks. You're going to bounce at some point. It may just be kind of a dead cat bounce. We pushed it too far to the downside, and doesn't mean the low's in just yet.
Right. Okay. Any more weather-related news that you can see that's affecting the market from the rains that we got through the wheat belt?
Yeah, so I think that's why wheat is up a little bit. You got Kansas City wheat up about 6.5 right now. Chicago's up 3.25. That is the reason they took some of the rain back out of the forecast. So there were some good rains last weekend, very welcome rains. Some rains that were forecast here over the next several days, they back on those. So wheat is bouncing a little bit, and that's the big question. They were so dry so long. Obviously, the rains helped if you got them, but in my mind, there still may be some damage already done, regardless of whether you got rain or not. And so, I think that just adds to the uncertainty and the volatility. If it stays dry and they don't get much more rain, I think that you could easily tack some weather premium back into wheat prices. And I think if it weren't for this Chinese trade thing, beans would be trying to bounce as well, because it's still very dry in Argentina. They're going to mostly miss the rains here, late week and over the weekend. So crazy times,
Right on.
that's what makes these markets. It's going to be really choppy, really volatile.
Yep. One last question, we'll wrap it up here. With the cattle guys that you guys deal with in Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, what are they telling you about hay? If they talk to you about hay prices or anything like that, is that getting to be an effect on the marketplace at all?
Well, it definitely will. I haven't heard a lot about that, but it was so dry and for so long in those areas that I think hay will start being a real premium. We've already seen, soy meal bump up. We've seen corn rally off the lows. So that's definitely going to affect, cattle going forward. We're working with higher numbers. We've known that for a while. We have more cattle on feed. But now, on the feed side, things are starting to inch up a little bit. So that's going to continue to put a little pressure on the margins as well from a feed ingredient side. I haven't heard specifically, on hay or alfalfa yet, but it's going to have to most likely be a premium situation given some of the dry conditions we've had.
Okay. All right, Chip, if guys want to get a hold of you, how can they find you?
Yeah, just call our office, 309-550-7213. We'll be happy to talk to you.
Great. So tomorrow we'll tune in. Tomorrow we'll tune in at the same 1:30, or actually we're going to push it back to 2 o'clock so we can get that cattle and feed report as part of this. So, Chip, thanks for your help here, and look forward to talking to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. We'll talk then.
All right, thanks, buddy.